Good afternoon, everybody. We're waiting on a few more key people. We'll be getting started here in just a few minutes. Okay? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Julia Azua. I am the Vice President of Clinical Services for CSI Aviation. On behalf of CSI Aviation, I want to welcome you and thank you for being here with us as we honor and remember our fallen crew of Sandia 534 Alpha Whiskey. We gather today in respect, in sorrow, and in gratitude for lives that have lived in service and for the legacy that they leave behind. I ask at this time that you please silence your phones so that this service may be conducted with dignity that our colleagues deserve. Please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Honor Guard, followed by the national anthem.
See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Come. Guards. Post. Prepare to post. Post. Coming. Present. Order. Order. Order.
Before we begin with opening remarks, we will take a moment for a blessing to bring comfort and strength to all gathered here with us today. I invite Commander Emmett Yazzie of Chinle Police Department to the stage to lead us in this reflection.
Ja, she Emmett Yazin Shia. Sanja Kinan Shlom, my discussion, but it's chin, Sina Jenny da she, Ki Ane da Shanala, died in Nenshlo, Yahat. Good afternoon, everyone. As a Chinle District Commander and as one of the first responders to this tragic accident, it is my solemn honor to stand before you today on behalf of the Navajo Police here in Albuquerque. When the plane crash occurred in Chinle, our officers were among the very first to arrive. Inside the aircraft were 4 remarkable individuals: Jeffrey Tuning, Amanda Benson, Camila Chavez, and Nicholas Mancuso. From the moment we reached them, we never left their side. We stayed with them as family, treating them with respect, compassion, and the dignity they so greatly deserved. Our officers held watch day and night, keeping the site secure until the arrival of the National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration. When it came to carefully remove them from the plane, we did so with reverence, as though carrying our own loved ones. At the site, we did a traditional blessing. A traditional ceremony was performed. Water was poured to cool the earth. Prayers were lifted to guide their spirits, asking for peace, comfort, and safe passage, that they might travel surrounded by love, compassion, and light. Jeffrey, Amanda, Camelia, and Nicholas lived with courage and purpose. They took to the skies not just for adventure, but to serve others, to bring healing, aid, and hope wherever it was needed. Their final journey reminds us that service is an act of bravery, that compassion is an act of strength, and that love is never forgotten. Today we honor them, we bless them, we carry their memory forward. May their spirit soar freely, and may their families and loved ones find comfort in knowing that they will always be remembered. At this time, I will offer an opening prayer in my language, the Navajo language. This prayer is spoken with humbleness, with reverence, and with deep sympathy. It is a prayer to honor the lives of those we have lost, to bring comfort to their families, and to carry their spirits forward with compassion and respect. The words I will share have been translated for you so that you may know their meaning and to feel the emotion behind them. But the prayer itself will be spoken in my native tongue, the language of my people, so that it may carry the spirit, the strength, and the blessings of our ancestors. I invite you now to join me in the moment of prayer. Kelly has the translation, and Kelly will be passing the translation out. Let us pray. Shidgin dine nahastan shema do hayol kal shje nikha hayol kal johna be etendin hayol kal shandin nilche be hojonigi nilche dine do yat ehgi the yin dine hojonje yat ehgi be iniked do be khanitzen ich hätte ne bezies do be inlil altro ne khabel khonello do ne khabek etni di bekeya na haz ade ho one na haz ade a konta del klete altro de di ne khabet khonello dole Sisna jinha ahde, so zilchata ahde, dog o asleet ahde, the bensa naho conste, didi yin art big do ayo da botninigi nechabik edin do nechabel one long dole. Di the ne benelni do ba shacha nitzin dole. Jeffrey Tuning, Amanda Benson, Camelia Chavez, Nicholas Mancuso. What the yende al tote do hayol kal biyade di nacha ayo ne be naden tladole ayo ne be adenel tsodole di be enelni the in the neda no lini ya ashte altote hada the tlate trondas lede the CSI bet ninigi bandal nishyandal nishiki eshi big de yila do ayota botne ado the nebesala esto khadoshi elwat edo tlato enalni do ayo ne lo be hazli do ba hazli anil tro ayo ne be enelni be gal be sin be tsodezen khashit a ye khatzi do ila nashnish Kut iya pa so des zindo le ayo neto shina khaha ni zino ashine binach Kut iya ni git so des zindo le Hojon hasli Hojon hasli Hojon hasli Hojon hasli. Thank you for joining me in that prayer. May its words bring peace, strength, and comfort to all of us here. As we continue with this memorial, let us carry that spirit of reverence and compassion in our hearts, honoring the lives we remember and the families who loved them. I want to give a little announcement to my lieutenant. Lieutenant Bitsili, where are you at? Raise your hand. So Lieutenant Bitsili is my district lieutenant, and he's the one that organized the manpower. He made sure there was lighting, 24-hour coverage, and I really appreciate his effort in making sure that there was 24-hour coverage, 24-hour watch for our family.
Thank you, Commander Yazzie. To begin our ceremony, I invite William Rock Collins, Chief Operating Officer of CSI Aviation, to offer our opening remarks.
How about now? Awesome. I'm glad to see you all took a seat. Okay, friends and family and colleagues and members of our community, we're gathered here today with hearts, heavy hearts, to honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice in the service of others. We're not just here to mourn, but we're here to give a voice to our profound admiration for the lives that they led and the legacies that they leave behind. This loss is a reminder of the courage that it takes to answer the call for help and to face the unknown for the sake of saving someone else's life. You see, to be an EMS responder is a calling that runs deep in their veins. When asked, most responders often downplay their contributions by saying, "I'm just doing my job." But I'm here to tell you that we know by running toward danger when others won't is more than just a job. It's a choice that very few others are willing to make. In fact, it's what heroes are made of. On August 5th, I received that call that no one ever wants to get. We had lost an airplane, and most importantly, we lost our entire crew. I'd have to tell you that it's the darkest day of my career. And I know that many of you received that same call. And I know that you felt the same way. We all share that moment of shock, grief, disbelief, and we'll always bind together because of it. I want you to look around you in this room. This room is full of very important people. All of you are very important. And I want you to know that we're recognizing our colleagues who have earned your presence. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. We thank you for being here. Today, I also want to extend the warmest and most sincere welcome to the families and the friends who are seated before us today. Many of you have gone to great lengths just to be here, and I recognize that, and I appreciate it, and I thank you. In this room, none of us are strangers to the inherent risks in our line of work. We accept them because the mission for caring for, transporting people, and saving lives is important. At CSI Aviation, safety is our foundation. Our protocols are thorough and they're intense. We fly with 2 pilots on every flight, and we hold ourselves to the standards, in most cases, that go far and above federal regulations. And yet, we're here today. We don't have all the answers, but I can tell you that we promise to learn everything that we possibly can, to apply every lesson learned in order to always seek to mitigate risk. In fact, one of the most meaningful ways to honor this crew is to continually strive to improve how we safely serve others while their lives are at stake. November 534's legacy, that crew will not only live on in the lives that they touched, but also in how we grow from this tragedy. We'll never forget their service, their bravery, their incredible mark that they've left on our lives. May God bless our fallen heroes. Watch over their families. And may their shining example inspire all of us to live lives of purpose and grace.
Thank you, Rock. We will now honor our fallen crew by name. Each name is spoken. Let us hold their memory close and reflect. Reflect on their service, their sacrifice, and the legacy that they leave behind. From the crew of Sandia 534 Alpha Whiskey, Captain Jeff Tuning, First Officer Amanda Benson, Flight Paramedic Nicholas Mancuso, Flight Nurse Camelia Chavez, may we never forget their courage, their compassion, and the lives that they touched.
Good afternoon. Thank you for all of you for being here. I'm Alex Kakov, the Vice President of Flight Operations at CSI Aviation. We're here today to honor and remember 4 extraordinary lives that were so devastatingly lost on August 5th, 2025. With so much to say about them, it was difficult to know where to start. In preparing to honor both Jeffrey Tuning and Amanda Benson, our Sandia 534 pilot crew, I quickly realized that there was no way to tell one story without the other. Their lives, both individually remarkable, are deeply and beautifully intertwined, both in the skies and on the ground. I had the honor of hiring and working with both. I knew them first as colleagues and eventually came to know them as what they were to one another, loving family. Jeff Tuning, or Tuna, as he was known to so many, grew up busy, loud, and had a need for speed. According to his sister Lori, even his tricycle with her on it was ready for Mach 1 at any given day. Described as a phenomenal baseball player, avid cyclist, and also a fierce protector of those he loved, his path was colorful, passionate, heroic, and unwavering. He became a loving and adoring father to Genevieve and Jeffrey, and more recently, a grandfather to Alexander and Francesca, both who he raved about whenever anyone would listen. His daughter Jenny shares stories of trying to keep up with him, from his early morning coffees and workouts to hiking Half Dome in Yosemite. Jeff, well, if you know Tuna, I don't know, how can I put it? He was one badass naval aviator. A retired A-6 intruder and F-14 Tomcat pilot, he was the masters of the sky. Taught carrier landings, led Fighter Squadron 102 at Naval Air Station Oceana, and oversaw operations and pilot readiness across several aircraft, including the C-12 King Air, the plane that brought Jeff and Amanda together professionally later in life. After the Navy, Jeff took his skills to the commercial skies, flying for United and eventually JetBlue. Served as captain in pilot command for 2 decades. Experience doesn't begin to cover it. Jeff was calm, capable, and inspiring. It was during this time, watching Tuna live out his passion, that Amanda began to dream of flying. Amanda Benson was gifted in every way. At 10 months old, she used sign language to communicate with her parents. By 6, she qualified for Mensa. She read every Harry Potter book by age 7. And when I say read them, I mean devoured them. She had the mind of a scholar, the heart of an artist, and the drive of a marathon runner. Literally, she ran races for all the causes she believed in. She loved art and museums, as well as hiking and the wide open sky. Amanda was also a writer, receiving Young Author Awards early in her life, but she eventually found her true voice not on the page, but in the cockpit. One of Amanda's favorite possessions was a 1968 Mooney that she and Jeff flew on countless occasions. They logged hours together, yes, but more than that, they built memories. They tracked down decommissioned naval aircraft that Jeff once flew, visited hangars together, and talked endlessly about the past, the future, and their love of aviation. With Jeff as her mentor, Amanda became a certified commercial pilot. One of Amanda's first experiences at CSI was when Jeff flew his first newborn or natal ICU patient for CSI. It profoundly impacted him, and he continued to share that story over and over. It showed that this new dynamic in mission of transporting people, especially young people who were fragile and in need of care, was one that the two deeply embraced and celebrated. Interestingly, both Jeff and Amanda, though at different points in their career, were embarking at the same time on new phases of their lives, piloting an air medical transport aircraft. Amanda was a rising star. She's already a quiet leader in the field, where only 1 in 15 pilots in the United States is female. Her courage, her poise, her joy, they left a mark on everyone around her. To lose them together, doing what they love, is a tragedy that words cannot fully hold. And yet, there's comfort, however fragile, in knowing that they were side by side, as they so often were. Jeff Tuning and Amanda Benson, your absence is overwhelming, your legacy is enduring, and your spirits, full of love, laughter, and lift, will forever fly with us. We miss you deeply, and you will always remain a part of the CSI Aviation family. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining. My name is Shane Farmer. I'm Senior Vice President of Medical Operations here at CSI Aviation. I'm honored to share with you all what we knew and what we absolutely loved about Sandia 534's flight nurse, Cammie, and flight paramedic, Nick. Cammie and Nick were not only colleagues at CSI Aviation, they were kindred spirits. They both were committed to healing, to compassion, to excellence, and their deep love for their families. They were the kind of professionals you always wanted by your side in moments of crisis, the kind of people who made this world better just by being here. As a care team, Cammie and Nick brought decades of combined experience to their work. They had served in almost every major healthcare system across New Mexico: UNM, Loveless, Presbyterian, caring for patients in emergency rooms, ambulances, and aircraft alike. They held numerous certifications in life-saving procedures and were constantly striving to grow in their skills, their knowledge, and their leadership. But beyond the uniforms and all the patient charts they had to write, there are two remarkable individuals with distinct lives, distinct stories, and immeasurable impact. Let's talk about Nick. To those that knew him, Nicholas Mancuso was many things. He was a gifted paramedic, a profound thinker, a loving husband, a very devoted father, and a true friend. Nick married the love of his life, Ashley, after they met in school. She was studying nursing, and he was chasing his dream of becoming a paramedic. That dream led him to serve with deep compassion and unwavering commitment. For Nick, being a paramedic wasn't just a job, it was truly a calling. It blended his love for science and his desire to help others. Nick's heart fully belonged to his family. His daughter, Lenny, his small girl, was the center of his universe. Everything he did was for her and the future of his family. He also cherished his mother, Lily, with whom he shared a profound bond as her only child. At work, Nick was a tireless advocate for his patients, his teammates, and for always what was right. He gave the kind of hugs that you didn't forget, genuine, grounding, and absolutely full of soul. He was curious, philosophical, and deeply intelligent. Known lovingly as Nickopedia, he could dive into conversations about quantum physics just as easily as he could write award-winning poetry. He read voraciously, he taught passionately, and mentored countless students with the utmost grace. It was rare to see him without his favorite rock band t-shirts, flannel, or hat turned backwards. He loved concerts, travel, and the open sky, but what our patients loved most about him was his absolutely amazing ability for calming them when they needed it most. Becoming a flight paramedic was his lifelong dream, and in achieving it, he didn't just live his dream, he inspired others to chase theirs. Now let me talk about Cammie. Cammie Chavez radiated light. Her warmth, her smile, her kindness, it all came from a very deep place of purpose. She was a devoted wife and mother of two boys, Zachary and Jacob, whom she homeschooled with extraordinary dedication. Cammie always said she was born to be a mom, and her love for her family was the guiding force in everything that she did. Her nursing career reflected her compassion and her commitment to care. She balanced shifts in the ER at Presbyterian Russ with her flight shifts at CSI. She was always nurturing her boys through a life full of learning and adventure. She believed deeply in non-traditional education and gave her children the world, quite literally, as a classroom. Whether traveling or teaching, she embraced every opportunity to inspire and uplift them. Cammie was grounded in faith. Her love for Jesus and her commitment to Bible study were central to her identity. She was strong, physically and emotionally, as well as spiritually, and she took great pride in caring for her own well-being so that she could care for others. Her dream of becoming a flight nurse stemmed from a desire to reach those in the most remote and vulnerable places. She believed every life was worth fighting for, and she carried that mission in every single patient interaction. Cammie and Nick each found a second family in their CSI team. Within that team, they supported one another, they challenged one another, and worked side by side in service of a higher purpose. That flight was not just a job, it was a testament to who they are, brave, compassionate, and selfless. Today, we mourn their loss, but we also celebrate their lives. We remember their laughter, their love, their gifts, and their dreams. And we hold close the families they love so dearly. In their final moments, Cammie and Nick were doing exactly what they were meant to do. They were bringing care, hope, and comfort to others. May we carry forward their legacy of compassion, courage, and love, and may their memory forever be a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful tribute. We will now hear our keynote address delivered by retired Bernalillo County Fire Department Chief Gregory Perez.
What an honor it is to stand before you all today, not just as a former fire chief, but as a fellow first responder, an extended family we call emergency services. It's a family that's held together not by blood, but by values, a shared sacrifice, long hours, and unwavering drive to help those most in need. Today we gather to grieve the tragic loss of Amanda, Jeff, Cami, and Nick, but to remember them and to honor them. Though I didn't know them personally, I offer my deepest condolences to the family, their friends, and their colleagues in the audience, recognizing the impact that they had on all of those around them and the lessons that we can learn from the lives that they lived. Jeff was the pilot in command. Amanda served as the second officer. Cami was the flight nurse, and Nick was a paramedic. All of them were part of CSI Aviation, a company that does much more than just operate aircraft. They bring hope and help into some of the hardest places at the hardest times. I will tell you, I'm not used to reading off of things, but something so deep as this, I had to bring notes with me, so you're going to see me probably fumble around a little bit through the few minutes that we have together, and I apologize for that. On August 5th, near Chinle, Arizona, their King aircraft was lost while on a mission. They were en route to pick up a patient in need of critical care, a mission that might appear routine on paper. As I'm told, they had flown this mission numerous times. But in reality, there really is nothing that is routine about choosing the unknown so that someone else may have a chance at life. Unfortunately, I know something about what this type of loss feels like. In 2022, I stood before a grieving group just like this, family members and first responders, after a helicopter crash claimed the life of a member of my own department and a friend, as well as 3 other brave men from the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department. These men were returning to Albuquerque after fighting a fire in northern New Mexico, and then, in one unthinkable moment, they were gone. I carry that loss with me still, and honestly, standing here with each of you today, I feel many of the same emotions I experienced then all over again. I vividly remember receiving the news regarding Metro 2 while I was on a plane returning from an amazing vacation with my family, with limited information on what was actually going on, and a stewardess who was doing her job in urging me to get off of the phone. This became the longest flight of my life. The next few weeks were a blur of organizing and consoling, supporting their grieving families, our department members, and the county as a whole. It was an area that none of us were professionals in. We were professionals in law enforcement. We are professionals in firefighting. We are professionals in emergency medicine. But we are not professionals in how to grieve the loss of a fellow member. We had to learn that as we went along. That experience taught me something that I will never forget, and I hope to share with all of you. It is the importance of taking care of one another and finding ways to heal not alone but together. In the immediate aftermath, the weight of the loss felt almost unbearable, as I'm sure it does for you all. And even now, 3 years later, the pain and that void remain. Grief like this, it doesn't just simply disappear. With time, it changes shape, but it never truly goes away. What you learn is how to carry it. You learn how to draw strength from those around you. Healing comes not by forgetting, but from supporting one another and honoring the memory of those that we've lost. Today, I also want to recognize the values that drive people like my Metro 2 crew and Amanda, Jeff, Cami, and Nick, or any first responder for that matter. There's a room full of us. When they choose, or we choose this work, we aren't just signing up for a job. We're answering the call, a call that's rooted in love. Love for our patients, love for our families, the communities that we serve, and love for our brothers and our sisters in this service. Even though I did not have the opportunity to know these individuals, their lives speaks volumes to me. By just showing up to work each and every day, they acted with compassion for the sick and for the dying and for the communities that relied so heavily on them. When no one else would show up, they were the ones who would. I'm sure you'll agree with me that there are few professions in this world where the job is more than just a title. It's more than just the uniform that we wear or the fabric that it's made of. But it's a symbol. It's something that's bigger. In air medical transport, like fire service, law enforcement, emergency medicine, the work is not just a career, it is a calling. Our crews don't show up because it's easy or convenient. They show up because they believe that saving just one life or easing just one person's pain is worth everything. Skills matter, training matters, but what sets all first responders apart is their sheer capacity to care. In preparation for this afternoon's event, I quickly came to learn of the care and the courage and the empathy that Amanda, Jeff, Cammie, and Nick showed to their patients, to their teammates, and the love to their families. I read that Nick loved one-on-one care with patients, and that Cammie would hold tightly to the hand of somebody in their most darkest moment. In a world that can feel challenging and uncertain, where the need of others are often greater, we need more of this kind of care. If each of us could carry a little bit of that spirit home with us today, if we could keep it close and let it shape how we live and how we serve, then their deaths will not be the end of the story. Their lives will keep on writing new chapters through each of us. Because in the end, the measure of a life isn't in the years or the awards or the titles that one receives. It's in the way that you make others feel every day, in every interaction. It's the light that we leave behind when we're called away. It's in the care that we give and the compassion that we inspire. In honor of Amanda, Jeff, Cammie, and Nick, let us commit to looking out for one another, to offering support when it's needed, and to showing care in both those small moments and those greater challenges. In doing so, we keep each of their spirits alive and ensure that their legacy continues to thrive in each and every one of us. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this special day.
Thank you, Chief Perez. At this time, the Honor Guard, along with Tommy Dunn, Executive Vice President of CSI Aviation, will present the flags to the families of Jeff, Amanda, Nick, and Cammie. These flags are a lasting symbol of gratitude and respect for their service and their sacrifice. It is common within our industry to present the families with a folded flag. Within these flags, we often place tokens of respect and remembrance. In them, a patch that signifies the company they worked for, a name patch that honors who they were and what they did, and a coin, a sign of respect between colleagues and members of the industry. We now go to the presenting of the flags.
Medevac Sandia 534. Medevac Sandia 534. This is the final call for the crew of Medevac Sandia 534. Negative contact for Medevac Sandia 534 Alpha Whiskey. On August 5th, 2025, Jeff, Amanda, Nick, and Cammie answered their last mission. Though their voices will no longer answer our call, their courage, compassion, and dedication will never be forgotten. We thank you and the 4 souls you carried for your service and your sacrifice. You are cleared from this flight. May you forever fly beneath blue skies and gentle tailwinds. Rest easy, Medevac Sandia 534. We will take the watch from here.
At this time, I'd like to invite Alan Way, founder and chief executive officer of CSI Aviation, to share our closing remarks.
Reset. Arm. Order. Arm. Prepare to retrieve. Color.
Julia. As a chief executive officer, I can tell you personally that being around, serving with, leading, watching our people do what they do is humbling and honoring to be involved with them. These people do a magnificent job doing tough things sometimes and risking. And obviously, that's why we're here today, to honor. Besides having been the CEO for a while, I'm a retired Marine. I've served in 3 armed conflicts, and I've had the experience of, unfortunately, seeing some great people pass. It never gets easier. It's not easy today. Not easy for me. I know it's not easy for you. I can't put myself in your shoes, but I am a husband, a father, and a grandfather, and I can certainly understand. So we're here today with heavy hearts. We're also bound together by a profound sense of respect, gratitude, and love. We come not just to mourn, but to honor, to remember Cammie, Nick, Jeff, and Amanda, and carry forward the legacy of our fallen friends, colleagues, and loved ones. You know, there are moments when words seem inadequate. This is one of those times. This loss has left an emptiness that words can't fill, and I understand that. Yet even in the silence of sorrow and profound grief, their lives speak louder than any of us could. Their lives speak of service, bravery, dedication, and an unshakable commitment to something greater than themselves. Cammie, Nick, Jeff, Amanda were more than professionals. They were protectors, mentors, and loved ones. They lived with courage, they served with integrity, and they gave themselves in ways that will forever inspire us. Their legacy is not defined by the tragic circumstances of their passing, but by the way they lived their lives and shared their light with others. As I look around this room and I see the hangars and the offices across CSI's operations, I see grief, but I also see strength. I see families standing together, colleagues leaning on one another, and a community that's come together in the face of heartbreak. I'm reminded of something I've shared with our CSI family before. There are times in life when it takes courage to get up in the morning, be present for friends, family, and colleagues, and keep going. This is one of those times. The weeks, the months ahead, not going to be easy for some. Minutes may feel like hours, hours may feel like weeks. But I also know in the midst of this tragedy, there's hope. There's also love. And there's a lot of love in this room, and that's a good thing. In the conversations I've had with many of you, I've witnessed not only that hope, but also resilience. I've seen how loss has brought us closer as co-workers, friends, and a family united by purpose and mission. To the families of our fallen heroes, please know that you don't walk down this road alone. We're here with you today and always. Their sacrifice, your sacrifice, will not be forgotten. The love and commitment they carried for their families and their work lives on in all of us. Today, let's make a promise to honor their memory, not only with our words, but with our actions. We will continue the work they so passionately believed in with the same dedication, compassion, professionalism that define their lives. Let's support one another as we carry the torch forward with Cammie, Nick, Jeff, and Amanda in our hearts and our minds. Thank you to our fallen heroes whose lives we honor, memories we cherish, and whose legacy will live on in all that we do. And thanks to all of you for your strength, generosity, and shared wisdom. The CSI family is stronger for it. For now, every one of us must march forward. We owe it to our lost friends and their families. We owe it to our loved ones who have gone before us. And we owe it to ourselves and those we now serve with. I want to thank you all. I want to particularly thank everybody, associates, and the CSI team who put together this really wonderful memorial. And God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. At this time, I'd like to invite Albuquerque Police Department Chaplain Ann Montoya to offer our closing prayer.
Shall we pray? Gracious and loving God, we gather in reverence to honor the memory of the medical staff who laid down their lives in service of others. We recognize their courage, commitment, and compassion, and we mourn the loss of those who answered the call to heal, comfort in times of great need. May their sacrifice never be forgotten. May their legacy inspire us to carry forward the torch of kindness, selflessness, and hope. Grant comfort and peace to the families, to the colleagues who grieve, and surround them with your love and healing presence. Bless all who continue this noble work, that they may be strengthened in spirit, protected in body. May they feel the support and gratitude of the communities they serve, and may their dedication shine as a beacon of light in the darkest of days. We commend these we have lost into your eternal care. May they find rest, and may their memory be a blessing to all we follow. Amen.
Please rise for the retiring of the colors by our honor guard. As we bring the memorial to a close, let us remember that though Jeff, Amanda, Nick, and Cammie have completed their final mission, their spirit of service and compassion continues through all of us. On behalf of CSI Aviation, I thank each of you for being here today. May their memory continue to inspire us, guide us, and live on through the lives that they've touched. Following service today, the crew members, families, CSI Aviation employees, and their families, the honor guard, and all who honored in uniform today, we would like to invite you to join us for a quiet reception following the service across the hall. Thank you. May we go forward in unity, strength, and remembrance.